So I want to talk about the completing the circle of what self-care is. Self-care is a buzzword these days. There is what I believe to be a misconception that self-care is just getting your nails done and going to get massages and brunch. That's not it. Self-care is any activity that we do deliberately in order to take care of our mental, emotional, and physical health. So it's subjective. It's whatever helps you do those three things, whatever helps you take care of your mental, emotional, and physical health. So that might not be getting a mani-pedi. So I want to talk about how figuring out what self-care is for you involves a certain level of self-awareness. And I want to talk about a little bit about that process. So if you are hearing this term self-awareness for the first time, I'm going to read you the definition according to Mr. Webster. Self-awareness is the conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires. So it is exactly what it sounds like. You knowing you. And I'm not just talking about a superficial knowledge or a superficial level of awareness, but it's you knowing your own character, your own feelings, your own motives and desires. And the thing is, we often hide those things from people. And sometimes we even show up and behave differently than our true character. So you knowing those things that you would probably keep away and hide from other people. Those things are key because that's going to help you figure out what self-care is for you. And then if you get off of your routine or you get out of sync with your self-care, it will kind of help get you back to center. So let's talk through that process first. Most women kind of engage in self-care for two reasons, or they have two motivations, one of two motivations. It's either going to be maintenance, meaning you recognize that I'm good, I'm whole, I'm straight, and I want to keep that going. So I'm going to do things that help me maintain my level of mental, emotional, and physical health. So that's one reason, maintenance. The other reason is restoration, because we have been in situations, we have dealt with a person, or we have had an experience that has depleted us and we have to restore or we got to replenish. So when you think about self-care in those two buckets, those two reasons, either maintaining what we've got, so I want to stay well, or restoration, meaning something has threatened my wellness, something has depleted my wellness, so I have to fill myself back up. Ask yourself, why are you doing this? Whatever that activity is, whatever, when you're in that moment, why are you doing it? Are you doing it to maintain, or are you doing it to restore? If you are maintaining, then good. That's good. You could also ask yourself, well, is this just out of pure habit that I'm doing this particular thing? Should I think about trying something else that maybe feeds another part of me? Maybe that allows me to explore another part of me that I didn't even know was there. So maintenance is that. If it's restoration or replenishment, then the next thing that you have to ask yourself is, am I repeating behavior that makes me keep having to do this? So if one of my self-care rituals, routines is to, do my masking routine, and I'm doing it because I'm noticing like my skin is breaking out. So I actually need to do it more often. So am I engaging in behavior that is causing my skin to break out, which is causing me to have to do these masks? Or am I putting myself in situations that are stressing me out all the time? So I have to keep seeking out these self-care activities to kind of bring me back and to maintain. So, and if that's the case, if it is something that, okay, my skin is breaking out because I'm not eating the right things. So then what do you have to change? You got to change your diet. You have to really think about and get aware of what you are doing so that you can almost add a deeper meaning to your self-care. You're doing it and you are aware of how this thing is going to feed your soul and how this thing is going to help you be well. And you also are recognizing that, okay, I can't keep putting myself in that situation that keeps depleting me, and I have to keep doing this, because then it becomes a cycle of abuse and restoration, and that's not healthy either. Self-care is great, but when you add that self-awareness to it, it just completes it for you and probably for the people that will interact with you, because you are making sure that you are doing exactly what you need for that period so that you can take care of your mental, emotional, and physical health.